Welcome, wandering souls, to the Black Rabbit Society, a Call of Cthulhu actual play presented by Table Quests. Thank you all for coming and bearing with the ongoing construction. A word of warning before we go any further. This evening's entertainment is a horror story. That means we're going to have adults using what may be adult language, and at times we're going to have adult themes. Consider yourself warned. Also, before we go any further, a little bit of thanks, not only to y'all, because that continues to be awesome, but to our many supporters and sponsors. That includes Peter Edgar, who did the awesome character art. You can find his stuff at patreon.com under /The Dungeon Sketcher. That is The Dungeon Sketcher. You can also find our own Joel playing Professor Herbert Francis Devenald, running his own fantastic Ravenloft campaigns with sound effects, music, and all that. You can find him at StartPlaying.Games /GM/leonidas-games. And last but not least, for our start, for the thanks, it is Syrinscape who's providing the wonderful soundscape, music, and other tools. It's awesome. It's super helpful. It's super, super beautiful. It's just great music. It's going to add so much to your games, and that's fantastic. We also do this. We do this every Tuesday night. If you like this, it'd be awesome if you subscribe. It'd be awesome if you use your Prime special stuff to throw some morsels our way. We also have a Dungeons and Dragons game Wednesday night. Doors and Deities. Our own Drew, who plays Horace Young, and Kendra, who plays Olive, don't reprise their roles because they have an entirely different set of roles. For those ones, it's Dungeons and Dragons. There's doors, there's deities.
There's and.
That's right.
Lots of and, yeah.
What more could you ask for? And then we're here every Tuesday night. Our very own Ben playing Tommy Cole has alas succumbed to the opium he was given last episode due to his broken ribs, and his body now slumps in the back of the car, probably to be gently cradled in Olive's arms as he's brought inside the mansion. Before we get to that and get to the mansion, we have our wonderful cast. We have Kendra playing Olive.
Howdy.
Kyle playing the effervescent Dr. Raymond Fox.
I don't know how it took us 2 hours to get here.
The clinging on to sanity and well-being for dear life, Horace Young, played by Drew.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have a cat.
We have a cat who I don't believe has a confirmed, settled upon name just yet. And we have Joel playing Professor Herbert Francis Devenald, the calm center of the chaos around him.
Most of the time, anyway.
Thank you for that subscribe. Oh my why, that's pretty awesome. Last time, our intrepid investigators were heading across the city, driving through the rain, preparing themselves for what comes ahead. And what comes ahead is a confrontation and trying to get answers from the Von Cartwrights. Namely, Ernst Von Cartwright, who they last saw in Aperitifs and Answers. You pull up, the rain has reached torrential levels. The subways are at risk of flooding. Water is starting to pile up in the streets. The lights themselves are all reflected and just, enjoying some good things. The mansion, the Von Cartwright mansion, which you haven't been to before, is a Second Empire style of red brick. That's kind of that New York-y, vaguely Queen Anne style you see to a lot of buildings. It's also really common in other places in New England. Those are those ones where you get some Victorian elements, and you take that American kind of neoclassicism and you smash them up a little bit. It's a sprawling building way up on the Upper East. There's a gate at the front that is opened by a very wrapped up man at the gate who waves you in, and you pull up to the mansion. Is there anything you wanted to accomplish, to go over final steps before heading up the stairs and knocking on the door?
I would like to confirm who I have handed over a firearm to, just to be sure that I'm aware of where they are and who's taking responsibility. Did anyone volunteer to use my rifle or shotgun?
Oh, not me, certainly.
I mean, I think one of you fellas probably need it more than I do, but I'm not gonna say no to an arm.
I do not believe I would be capable of using it properly.
Initially, I was under the impression that perhaps Tommy would be the best person, as he does have military training, but considering the level of opium currently flowing through his veins, I am not comfortable handing over a firearm to the young man at this time. Olive, have you used either shotgun or rifle in the past? Any duck hunting in your history?
Guns aren't really my thing. I know how to aim and pull the trigger. That should be enough, right?
Well, one should hope you need to do neither, but yes, that is the basic premise of it. Do you have a preference?
Maybe give me, I don't know, the smaller one so I can surprise him.
Pipe.
They're both approximately the same size. The rifle does have less of a kick, if that matters to you, dear. The other one requires a strong arm, although you do have quite a bit of strength, more than this old man at this point.
Yeah, okay, so, give me whatever.
All right.
Whichever, yeah, okay.
All right. Herbert will hand over the rifle to you. It does hold more shots as well, which I think may, well, hopefully will not become important, but if we need to fire, a few extra rounds could be the difference between our life or an attacker's.
Okay. And just to be clear, we're going there only for questions, or are we going there for questions to be answered no matter what? Any means necessary.
But I'm certainly not suggesting that we go in guns a-blazing like
No.
Wild Bill Hickok out of the West. Simply
Obviously not.
that we
Okay.
should be prepared to defend ourselves, as we have seen what people who come in contact with this family become.
Okay. Heard you loud and clear.
I hope so.
I would like to have, before we left to drive here, turned in my coat check tag for the baseball bat.
Yes, of course.
Thank you. I'd like to hide that in my garment bag that has my spare tuxedo.
Excellent.
Are you bringing the garment bag into the mansion?
I am, yes.
Of course. Always important to be prepared in case there's a gala that you didn't expect, yes?
Well, yes. I mean, you see his house. I suppose probably fairly formal attire for a dinner or late night questioning session.
Agreed. I'll simply tuck this here under my coat and hold it close.
Yeah, is there room in the garment bag to hide other weapons if we're so inclined?
Well, I mean, at some point you are going to reach diminishing returns.
Yeah.
You can... Garment bags have a decent amount of give to them. You could put a lot of in there. Whether or not they are hidden, it becomes the operative question.
All right. Well, I think, Professor, you've got that reasonably well tucked away, right? Maybe we're going for pheasant after this.
Well, again, I don't plan to make it obvious that I'm carrying it, you see. I'll simply be holding it close here under my overcoat. Olive, do you have a coat, don't you?
Yeah. I could just take Tommy's. He doesn't look like he needs it, so.
Agreed.
On that note, should we do something about the worm in a jar? I would feel strange leaving it out here unattended.
All I'm saying is, it's a great weapon.
That is not what I meant. More so that I would not wish it, should any harm befall the jar that contains the worm, it to be so close to someone who cannot defend themselves from it.
We could lock it back up in the glove box if we don't want to bring it inside with us. I mean, we're bringing Tommy in, right?
We could just hide it on Tommy. Just in case.
That's the opposite direction than you were looking to go, right, Horace?
Precisely. I don't want it near Thomas. Anywhere where we could not have eye contact with it. I believe the glove box should be sufficient. Inside the jar, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, let me grab that from Tommy for you. And I'm gonna try to slide it and put it in my pocket. The jar, not the worm. Like, keep it in the jar.
Oh, that is most assuredly a thing you can do.
Okay.
Why is this
Olive's the best criminal.
She just David Blained us.
Yeah. You've been mind freaked.
What jar? Was there a jar?
She's gonna pull a jar from behind my ear and just...
As long as the worm is still in it, that's fine.
Yep, everyone thinks that the jar has been put in the glove compartment.
Okay.
Raymond will lock it. And, well, that's settled then. Now, I suppose onwards and inwards out of this awful rain.
Into the lion's den.
It is a 4-stone step walk up onto the front veranda and a heavy brass knocker. The door opens, and instead of there being a butler to greet you, you see Ernst von Cartwright. His hair is a mess. He is in a evening suit. Think smoking jacket. He has a splatter of blood on his shirt collar. He looks white as a sheet. And he goes, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here."
How much does he look like the young man that I met outside the precinct?
They look like they could be father and son. They do not look like they're the same person a couple decades apart.
All right.
He does look as though he is in his 50s or 60s. So.
All right.
Mr. von Cartwright, are you
Come in.
sound? Are you hurt?
I'm not hurt.
Is someone else hurt?
Yes, come in from the rain. It'll.
Of course, of course.
You've all been decently inured to some basic violence at this point. So I'm not going to require sanity checks to seeing the... Professor Herbert, you don't recognize any of these people, but the front entryway is a bit of chaos. It is a beautiful room full of chestnut wainscoting, a grand staircase up to the second story. But what first catches your eye is the, again, if everyone else recognizes the bodies of the two gentlemen who were providing muscle during the time you met. One is splayed on the staircase, one on the floor with a pool of blood below him. The butler, his left arm is in a sling. There are a number of cuts along him and blood. He looks shaken and barely like he's holding it together. Standing at the top of the staircase is Edmund von Cartwright. Cigarette in one hand and a heavy kitchen knife in the other. The knife dripping blood. He takes a long drag in the cigarette and goes, I knew it was just a matter of time.
Is he obviously threatening anyone at this point in time, or is everyone around him dead?
Well, the butler's alive. He is not immediately near anyone. It seems very much like he has this situation in hand.
But he's still holding the knife.
Yes.
Ernst, what's going on? What happened here?
And he glances up at his son, who gives him like a little like, and he goes, we were closing up the house for the night. I came out of my library, and he emerged from a closet, and it happened so fast, and he said, we're gonna wait for you.
And your security took offense to that, or they objected to his presence, and that's...
He cut them down in moments.
The men are dead then.
Yes.
Does
Raymond's-
it look like Edmund would be able to just knife these two muscle men? Like,
No. It would
Okay.
be pretty darn impressive for him to pull that off.
okay.
Do I believe Ernst's story?
That'd be a psychology.
I would love a psychology roll. Pretty please.
Now, while he's doing that, I would like to clarify, I guess. Is Edmund's voice the same voice as I heard over the phone back in the hospital?
You think so. Phones are not as high quality as nowadays, so there would be a little more distortion. It is a bit more of, it'll sound tinny and at a distance. But you are fairly certain. Dr. and Fox, Ernst is barely holding it together out of shock. You're not certain you're not certain he could lie if he wanted to, or he is an absolutely phenomenal actor.
Raymond's gonna look to the others and look up at Edmund and go, "Well, Edmund, you wanted us here, and now you've got us. What's next?"
He ashes onto the carpet. He just kind of flicks the cigarette and he goes, I need your help. It turns out I've been doing it all wrong. And you messing things up revealed what I need. You help me do my little ritual, and you'll never see me again.
Is there a chair or like a stool somewhere in the entryway?
Yep.
I would like to walk over to the stool/chair, take a seat, and just kind of like lounge back,
Okay.
cross my arms. Why do we help you?
Any doorway you see, I can be on the other side of. For the rest of your life. I have all the time in the world. I can figure out everyone you care about. And I can be on the other side of any of those doors too.
Was this always the plan, Edmund? Is that why you visited me all that time ago?
No.
Was I always a part of your plan?
No, this was an unexpected wrinkle.
You don't sound too good there, Edmund. Feeling all under the weather?
Just some burns down my throat. I have you to thank for that.
Hey, I aim to please.
Well, it was an educational experience.
How injured does the man who appears to be the butler look?
He is not dying. He is not in a good way. He is spending a great deal of his time and energy just holding himself together, which in part may be quite literally, as he has a hunk of cloth to a gash on his neck.
And Ernst,
Ernst appears unharmed.
but has blood on him, you said.
Yes, it looks as though it's blood splatter.
I see. I will look up at the young Von Cartwright and simply say, if you want us to even consider assisting you, you will allow us to assist him first, and reference the butler.
Sure.
Come on, Tommy. Let's have a look.
Tommy is zonked out.
Oh, right. I will walk over on my own then and see if I can determine if there's anything to be done. Does anyone else have any experience in caring for the wounded?
Unfortunately not.
It's been a good number of decades for myself.
I'll be in the salon. Don't bother trying to leave the house. He stalks off.
All right, well, I'm going to examine the butler and see if there's anything that I can do to stabilize him and keep him from dying. Is that just a first aid roll?
That is just a first aid roll.
How bad does he seem with an 80?
He's not gonna die.
He seems pretty all right.
Yeah, he's not gonna die. He's not happy. He probably needs stitches or something, but you can't do stitches. pressure in cloth is the best thing for now. You managed to kind of like fashion something to hold the fabric to his neck better out of
I mean, I would just tear off a piece of curtain or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. He said we couldn't leave. Does that apply to you as well?
I don't know.
Mr. Von Cartwright, could you call a taxi for him and get him to a hospital?
I can do this, yes. I can. Yes. He goes to a phone in a small little phone closet off the hallway, and he makes a call, and it sounds like a cab's on the way.
All right. Have a seat. Don't move. You should be fine. Mr. Von Cartwright, what exactly is it that your son is after?
I had hoped you would have a better idea. I have only some inkling based upon what he's read and what he's doing. He's doing something with the folds.
Yes.
He's
The folds from the accoutrement.
yes.
And you have a complete volume
Yes.
here
In the library.
in the library, not the parlor.
No.
Olive, Raymond,
Yeah.
do you think perhaps you could keep the young Von Cartwright busy with conversation for a bit while Horace and I examine that book in greater detail?
The only way that I think that we would be better equipped to do exactly that would be if Tommy were able to have a conversation alongside with us. Professor, read well. Good luck.
Try not to resort anything to violence. If he wanted
Speaking
us,
to you,
if he,
Raymond.
Yes, well,
if he wanted us dead, I have no reason to believe we wouldn't be.
we have to hope that we're more useful to him than we are a nuisance to him.
Precisely.
Yes, but let's not make ourselves overly useful.
Play to his ego, keep him talking.
Precisely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We
Maybe
can
he
do
wants
that.
to tell you about the worms. The pilotfish.
Well, yes.
All right. Mr. Young, are you up for another foray into the unexplainable?
As prepared as one can be. So he takes off his coat, and looks for a coat rack.
Yep.
Rolls up his sleeves. Shall we?
Yes.
We're going to start with the two going into the library.
Before we go into the library, I wanted to do some stuff in the lobby.
Well, they were leaving off.
Cool. Yes.
For you two to stay in the lobby, and then I believe to the parlor.
Salon.
Was the plan? The
Yes.
salon.
The salon, yes.
Salon.
And I was going to head them first, so we could start establishing diverging timelines.
Okay.
You are directed to it by Ernst before he goes back to fussing over the butler, and kind of panickedly glancing towards the salon every few minutes. And the library has a door that you would more imagine to see in a safe. It is heavy wood with metal bands holding it together. It opens, and on the inside you see that there are 4 separate locks that are, including a deadbolt at the top and the bottom, that can only be adjusted from this side. Once you're within, you both start to feel and hear this ringing, this low, ongoing noise. It's almost in the back of your teeth, or at the back of your head or something. And it's just ongoing there. And it's something that is forever at the edge of your awareness whenever you're in this room. Inside is some bookshelves, but Horace remembers him referring to it more as a lab, which is likely more applicable. There are great big cables running in these big sinusoidal S's down the walls, and then they connect, and then they sinusoid across the floor, so across the entire area. There is a couple of electric lights that are lighting the room, and then there's another one just in the wall that is bright, very bright. It's almost like an industrial light there, but it doesn't seem like it's not directed as though it's supposed to be providing light, and it is plugged into this larger set of cables. There's a great big heavy wooden table with some stools around it, and on it are a pile of books. Going through it, you're able to find the book A Côte du Monde without too much difficulty. It's a heavily annotated and marked copy.
Now, I don't suppose there'd be any way to try to find out or to figure out what this lab may be set up for?
Ooh. You can roll me either a physics or mathematics science or a Cthulhu mythos.
Would occult also apply?
I would give you a hard occult because of what you've read already.
I am going to use the 4 luck on that
Okay.
to push that to a success.
The cabling it's tied to the stuff you'd read previously about frequencies and the folds and such. So these cables are providing the effect he described of it not being affected by the folds and the propagation effect they have.
So this is the safe room.
This is the Horus doesn't have the full scientific background to understand all of how it's doing it, but what it's doing is it's basically creating a wall or a bubble, since it's a whole room, of a version that is inimicable to folds. So folds that happen in this room could not happen, would not affect outside, and vice versa.
Right.
It doesn't stop stuff from happening, it stops it from propagating across. And you know, it has something to do with the electricity, and it has something to do with magnets, and it has something to do with the relationship of electricity and magnets. And that's where Horus starts to get into it's being approached through the mythos, so it is about the waves and propagation of reality itself, and how this is providing a song that runs counter to it to deaden the noise.
I see.
This must be what he was talking about.
How do you mean?
Place. Yes, right. Ernst told us that he had a room, a laboratory where the folds had no effect. That information swallowed by a fold could be held without disappearing. Somehow the sound we're hearing.
Yes, you do hear that.
Provides a signal that can interfere with the propagation of a fold, like interference in radio waves.
So this room is safe from whatever it is the madman plans?
Possibly. I do not know all of its properties. I know if a fold were to occur here, it would be limited to the contents of this room, whatever is enshrouded by the protection. Similarly, if a fold were to take the house, then this room would remain. To what consequence, I'm unsure.
I see.
You're both also able to deduce, without any stuff, that effect will only last so long as this has electricity.
I see.
It is in our interest to ensure that this continues running, as I'm sure you've deduced.
I don't suppose you understand enough to move it to surround the parlor that he finds himself in now.
That would require significant extension of the apparatus. I do not know. I have no experience in these sorts of properties. Only the theory.
That's quite all right, Mr. Young. Neither do I.
Certainly, there would be no way to do so without, at least temporarily, disabling the system.
Yes. Well, perhaps we could convince him to come here to perform the ritual within this room.
I believe he may be wise to that.
Can you determine how to turn it off and on again?
Good question. If I follow the wires, can I see any point where it's hooked into the wall, or where it like disappears into the wall, where it's attached to something?
Yeah, you do that a bit, and you find there is a closet. You open the closet, and there's just a great big switch on the inside. There's also just a rows of breakers, the old-timey glass ones, and then just like a box of replacement breakers, and then another box of replacement breakers, and spools of wire at the bottom.
Found it. And Horace will walk away from the door, being careful to leave it open.
Perhaps prop it open with a couple of these larger tomes.
Yes, good idea.
Let's not have it swinging shut on us.
That would not be ideal.
For that matter, and I will go and open the door to the hallway as well that we came in through and prop that open. Perhaps you're right. Perhaps it is an impossible task. My only thought is that if we were to turn off the device and somehow lure the man in here and keep him here, we could turn the device on and he could do no harm to anyone outside of this space at the very least.
Perhaps we should plan on that as a contingency. For now, we would best utilize the properties of the room, namely the presence of this book.
Ah, yes, of course. I'd almost forgotten.
Yes, let us quickly get to work.
Quite right. Here. Should we start at chapter 1 or chapter 8?
We need to know what it is we're dealing with.
I will note there are a series of, again, notes, marginalia, and sheafs of paper and stuff in there. There appear to be a few things that are labeled already. So you can also make some library use checks to try to collate through these notes and see if they provide any insight on a good spot to start, or you can use your own deductions from other things.
Right. Because I definitely think Horace will want to pull the notes out and kind of arrange them by chapter, by kind of where they were found, and look through those. Perhaps I should look through these notes while you do the robust reading. They may provide insight into what we need. Where is library use? Right there. Oh, I don't exactly know how I'd push.
This writing's real faint. Let me hold it up against a candle to make it more clear.
Hold it up to this heat light.
I'll give you a push.
Okay. I guess maybe at risk of...
No, don't worry about it. I'll give you a push.
Okay, making insights that aren't there. Hard success.
Did you also want to roll, Professor?
I am not at all good at this type of research.
Fair enough. I will let Professor roll an occult as well for his own separate little insight.
Excellent.
Fantastic. So, you're able to make, through like your initial quick reading, you're just doing skimming because time is a factor, and you are able to deduce a couple of lines of attack that you think would make sense. You can find multiple sets of notes in here. So there is both what appear to be Ernst's notes and Edmund's notes. So you can follow one of their lines of inquiry. So those are your first two options. There also are a few specifically rituals or the small little playthings that have been flagged. So you can look into what those are, or you can try to go for just maximum comprehension, which is you're trying to use all the stuff you have to get the most information as possible, but that will take the longest. In addition, with that occult roll and some of the initial readings of it, you're able to deduce, Professor, that other people will not hear the noise you two hear. It is only people who have already been affected in the way you have, and presumably the way Edmund has.
Of course.
By a fold. So your theory that he would not know, he would probably know instantly.
Once the device is activated.
Yes.
But if it's inactive, when he enters the room, it shouldn't make a noise. I in fact, will ask Mr. Young if he minds if I test that theory.
Yes.
All right, only for a moment.
Of course.
I will turn off the device.
Okay.
Does the noise dissipate?
Yes.
I will say a brief prayer and turn it back on.
Horace, you and the professor need to make sanity checks because the notes are now not the same.
Here we go.
Well, Professor, you're going to lose one.
Unshakable. You said one?
One,
Okay.
which is less from the shock of it changing and more from you don't know what information's gone.
Right. No, 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 no. Oh dear. Oh dear. Mr. Young?
Horace, you lose 3.
Mr. Young, do you recall?
Scheiße.
Have things been added or have they been taken away? Or is it both?
They must have been taken away.
It's actually, Horace, you can tell at a glance, it's both.
Oh dear.
You now also have 2 more lines of inquiry you can follow. You can follow Horace's notes. Or you can follow the set of handwriting you don't recognize.
I'm sorry, just to clarify, Horace's notes?
Yes. A set of notes in there Horace's hand are done by Horace's hand.
That were not there a moment ago.
Correct.
Excellent.
Horace is reading those.
I did realize I do actually have points in library use. It was just farther down and not in the place I expected it to be on the skill sheet. Can I roll to try to assist him in this?
So, yes, 100%. It is going to be simply a matter of how much that library use is going to be how much time it takes you, because you have only 1 copy of the book and you need the marginalia to cross-reference with the notes.
Of course.
You can only follow 1 avenue of investigation at a time.
All right. Here we go.
Before you roll,
Yes.
because they require different successes,
All right.
you're following Horace's notes. Both of you agree to that.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm just making sure.
I'm not sure.
So you will get a library use with a bonus die because you're both working.
Who will?
You two choose who rolls.
I have a 30.
50.
Take it.
I'm gonna need it. Yo!
24.
That'll be a hard.
That would be a
success.
hard success. Why did we not think that was gonna... How did we miss that?
What?
That turning it off was gonna...
How did you create notes in this book that you've never seen before this moment in time? That is what I don't understand.
I have memories reappearing at random intervals of my conversations at school, of my conversations with Edmund, whom I previously did not remember.
More memories of Edmund.
No, just the ones that have already been. I do not find it at all difficult to believe that this is not my first foray into folds.
Uh-huh.
What is it we know about information which is lost during a fold? That it does not affect this room. We deactivated the elements which keep that effect from propagating. Elements from a fold have reappeared in this book.
But there's more information. There's information that wasn't there before, not less.
Indeed, I no longer can be confident that we are within the reality which we believe ourselves to be.
I see.
Indeed, the one we were in when we entered this room.
Team salon / lobby.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll be right back.
Of course, you are in the lobby. There's something Raymond Fox wanted to do.
Oh, Raymond just wanted to make sure to get a picture of the dead muscle people framed with on the stairwell in the lobby before Olive checked their pockets.
Okay.
I want to see if he's gonna do that, and I see he's gonna do that. I think we have a moment. I want to open the front door and put something in the doorway to keep it open.
You open the front door?
Yes, but I'm trying to do it stealthily.
Okay.
Is that stealth or sleight of hand? Because my hand is opening the door.
No, it's stealth.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you open the door and Edmund's right there.
Oh. I just left something in the car. I was gonna go get it, but since you're already here, shall we go to the parlor?
I'll see you there. And he closes the door.
I really am not
He
gonna.
doesn't go in
for
with you.
this.
He just closes the door.
He's so creepy. Are you done taking pictures of the dead men?
Yes, I think I've got it.
You are able
Okay.
to find they each have a pistol.
Oh, yeah. Ravenel, guns. Olive, do you want a gun?
I've never said no to a gun.
Here, have a gun. I'll keep one, I
Thanks.
guess. And Raven will tuck that away.
Do you not think it's worrying that they had guns and they are very muscular, but yet that guy was able to take him out one shot?
He
couple
must
shots.
he must have got the drop on them. He came out of nowhere. Ernst says so.
Are they near a door? Their bodies?
Yes, they did
Okay.
say he came out of the closet.
Okay.
It's a big old
Well-
house. There are doors everywhere.
Is there a door leading to the parlor? Or
Oh,
is
yeah.
it just okay?
Oh, it's open though. You can.
Oh, it's
you-
open,
you
okay.
lean towards it. You look in. He's sitting there. He has the bloody knife just stuck into the table in front of him, and he has a glass of cognac, and he has another cigarette.
Okay, Raymond, he's trying to pull a power play over us.
Oh, should I put on my
How do we want it?
tuxedo?
I don't know. I just feel like we need to have our own power play,
Yeah.
I don't know if we have time for the tuxedo, but maybe we could go in all. You can be cool and suave, right?
I suppose so.
Oh, they love that confidence. Okay. So he's got his whole bloody knife thing. I say, I don't know. Okay, let's just go. Let's just get it over with. We just need to distract him. We'll cater to his ego, right?
Yeah. And while you have been talking, Raymond has been putting on his tuxedo.
Oh gosh.
It's like he gets his bow tie tied off.
I was gonna say, it is the going out style. Does it have tails?
No.
Okay.
It's not white collar.
Okay.
And he's got his baseball bat too.
Yes.
Cool and confident, right, Olive?
Yeah, I can believe that you are cool and confident. Definitely both those things. I'm just gonna roll up my sleeves and try to I don't know, look more muscular than usual.
So I like to imagine that you enter the parlor, and Dr. Raymond Fox cannot help but use the baseball bat as a walking stick.
Oh, absolutely. It's a cane. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing the John D. Kane. You come in. You see there are two other cognacs on the table already.
Oh.
You can sit.
Thank you. Raymond will sit down, grab a cognac, and smell it.
I'm gonna grab the cognac, but I'm gonna remain standing while leaning on the chair.
Okay. The salon has overstuffed leather chairs. The walls are mostly glass window, which you can just see the pouring rain outside. You can barely even see the city, and you're kind of happy for a moment that it's overcast because you're pretty sure what's above those clouds.
Edmund, what is it?
Want money?
I mean, yes? What? Oh, no.
What is it that you want from us? What is it that you want to accomplish?
I'm guessing you didn't have to fight.
To fight? No, generally not, no.
In the war.
Oh, no. No, I didn't.
People like you and me, Dr. Fox, we don't usually have to. Someone I care about did. Imagine a world where that didn't have to happen. That's what I'm trying to do.
So you're trying to bring world peace? Well, look at you. That's pretty commendable.
A world where that war didn't happen looks very different than the one we're in today.
Hmm.
I can't undo the war having happened. I can make sure there's never another one.
Bye.
It's complicated.
I'm a smart guy.
Yeah, me too. I'm a smart gal. He's a smart guy. We can figure this out. Go ahead, try.
Imagine every version of reality is a rug. A piece of fabric. Made up of individual threads. Crisscrossing, and together they make the whole. Every single thing that does or doesn't happen is a thread.
Yeah, okay.
I'm proposing I enter a life of service to forever make sure the threads are better tended to.
You've selected yourself as the weaver at the loom.
That's one way of looking at it. I think it's more of making sure the fabric is up to snuff before it's being woven.
So, if we're gonna live in this new world where you're kind of like a god, right? Because you do get to choose which threads you want to pull and where to weave them. What are the parameters of this new world? It's like no wars. Okay, I can sign up for that one. Olive is rich. That sounds great. Who suggested that one? What else are we working with?
A world without violence, without people hurting each other.
You did hurt those two men in, an entryway.
They're only currently dead. They can still come back.
How does this work? How do you control the threads? How do you select them? What gives you the power? And what gives you the right?
I don't care for philosophy. I have the right because I'm the one who figured it out. And I'm going to make it happen. A lot of you just make it easier.
Why us? How do we make it easier? I mean, I don't know. I don't think we're doing this on purpose. Are you, Raymond?
Not on
Because
purpose.
you're both in and outside the fold. Your frequency is... as I said before, things either are or they are not. Currently, you and I are both.
So does that mean I can do the door trick?
It means you could learn how to.
What else can we do? Besides going through doors. I mean, I'll take a seat. I'm trying to like act more casual. Like, you know, we can pull threads, we can go through any door. What else are we working with here?
I don't care.
So you just stop caring about everything? That's another one?
No. I don't care what you want or what you get.
I mean, if you want our help, you should sell us on this, no? I mean, what you doing with this whole thing? At first, I was a little intimidated, and you know, I am sorry about the whole fire thing. This is a lot to spring on anybody, and it was maybe like a fighter instinct, but you want to get rid of violence, so, you know, in this new fold world, there wouldn't have been an Olive who even knew violence. So, I'm all ears. How do we help?
You just help me do one last ritual.
But like, I need to know the benefits. For
Will
me.
we survive the ordeal?
Yes. The benefits for you, you have not said what you want.
Okay, well, I want that door thing. I want to never die, because I assume you can't die if you had fire in your lungs and you didn't die.
Never is a long time, but
Okay.
your point.
Like that. Let's see. No
Olive.
death. Yeah.
What do you want me to tell your father?
Is that a threat?
No. It's a mercy.
Oh, okay. Raymond, he's doing me a mercy.
Oh, merciful this one, is he?
So merciful. What do you want me to tell your father? How about that, Edmund? He's in the next room. Which one of us is faster? Which one is gonna hurt more? Because my father was a no good man. Was yours?
Edmund's gonna stand up and he starts stalking towards his own father.
He's like
I
leaving the
tackle
room.
him.
You're gonna try to stop him? Yeah, he's
I tackle him.
okay.
Should I shove the worm in his ear while I have him on the ground if I can pin him or no? That's a bad idea, guys. Okay.
I just physically incapacitate, maybe?
Okay. What is let me see. Grapple, right?
Yeah, it's fighting brawl.
Okay.
Let me roll. There we go.
Oh, he won.
Oh my gosh. Am I allowed to spend luck after I've seen his roll? No, right?
You also can't on combat.
Yeah.
What if
Okay,
I am
well-
Spending luck or pushing in
taking his
combat.
legs out with the bat?
You're rushing at him. He double steps. He has the cognac in his hand still, and he smashes it into Ernst's face. And he has the because they have cognac glasses, have the little,
Yeah.
and he just starts stabbing his own father in the face with that little piece of glass, over and over and over again.
Olive, and Raymond will toss the bat to her.
I take the bat and I swing. I don't want to kill him. I just want to incapacitate him.
That wasn't a sanity check? Holy crap.
It was a sanity check, but I was
Okay.
gonna let them finish their like moment of panic.
Okay.
Because I was also looking for like a repeated stabbing sound.
Oh.
Apparently, I don't
okay.
have that.
Yeah.
Just use the regular stabbing sound several times.
Yeah.
Arrows in flesh might work.
A little quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can swing that baseball bat.
Okay. That's another brawl with. I don't have it on me. Okay. Ugh.
Cool. Roll for your damage.
Okay.
That'll be D6 plus your damage bonus.
D6 plus damage bonus.
I'm guessing all of his damage bonuses plus 1d4.
Trying to find out on my sheet. Combat. Here we go.
It's in the very middle of the sheet.
Oh,
that
1d4. Yep.
section.
I see it. Okay. Well.
All right, he's still stabbing his father, looking away from you. So you just clock him up the backside of the head with him, and his head kind of goes, and there's a crack from the wood, and it goes back up, and he just looks at you. What did you want his last message to be?
Screw you. And I pull out the gun.
Okay. I am going to have the two of you make sanity rolls. From
Okay.
witnessing a pretty brutal and bloody murder.
Horrific, yeah.
And a man take a baseball bat upside the back of the head and not super react. Cool. Olive, it's going to be 2. Raymond, that's going to be 4. Are you firing the gun?
I'm gonna point it at myself.
Ooh, okay.
So you want to control the threads? Good luck finding an olive who can help you other than this olive. Now, why don't we have a seat and talk about this rationally?
He looks at Raymond. And you can tell he's very much of like trying to see what Raymond's going to do with this.
What have you made of yourself, Edmund?
He's going to go and sit back in the parlor. Okay. Team library.
Jeez.
You had a hard success following up on Horace's line of inquiry. Horace was specifically trying to determine whether the folds were other realities, whether it was other timelines. Very much what Horace is trying to figure out right now. There are a number of notes in here from Horace that suggest that these are from a few years in the future.
How can we tell that?
He has other Horace has dated them. He appears to become very interested in and concerned about how much of what he's doing is changing or has been changed. And there are a lot of his focus is on whether or not causality works the way he thinks it does. And he does a lot of focus on the Leviathans. Namely, the thing that Horus finds and concludes, and your path ends with a letter from other Horus that is to whoever finds this, possibly myself. If anything too large is attempted, there's no telling what the Leviathan will actually do. And whether or not there's other things out there like it that may be drawn to it. He concludes that he concludes that anything too big, anything too dangerous, might just lead to it not working and something else entirely happening. There is some threshold beyond which you're not getting a fold, you're getting something else. That Horus then concludes he can't find any other way to accomplish his ends and hopes that you have better luck.
What are your ends, Horus?
I have no idea. I've gotten so far ahead of myself.
Practice a mental exercise. What might you be trying to accomplish this many years in the future, knowing what you know now and seeing the notes that you left for yourself?
Given what we know now, I wasn't trying to stop the folds or to close them. Open them back up, who's to say? I was trying somehow to use them for something better. Keeper. Now that fold events have changed, given the changing state of the room, are there any memories that I'm now having that I didn't have before?
No.
Okay.
No, because you were already affected by all of the folds prior to
All of the
entering the room.
folds. Gotcha.
Sorry, you've been
Okay, I see.
now
Yes, I see
affected
what
by
you're saying.
all of the folds that have affected the room at this time.
Right. Gotcha. Okay.
You were trying to accomplish something vast, it seems, Mr. Young.
At least as a mental exercise. Horace is just stroking the cat.
Only as a theory. Is that what you posit?
I hope so.
I wonder what the notes of our other annotator might lead us to. Do you suppose other Horus read them first before investigating on his own?
From glancing through, there were no dates on those ones to say for certain. The only set of notes that appears to become very concerned about the order of things happening is Horus's.
Is that order consistent?
Explain what you mean.
So do the dates proceed through the book in a linear fashion?
No, because it appears that they study. Take two. It appears that they are along a train of inquiry that included rereading and retesting parts of the book.
Going back and forth.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
There is a definite line of inquiry, including referencing other books that you don't have here, and other research and findings and possibly experiments. It's not clear what those were or mean. But yeah, Horace's big finding was there is a hard limit to what you can do with folds, and trying to go beyond it is very dangerous. And whatever that Horace was after is beyond that limit, by his understanding.
Is there any description of the limit?
That was my next question.
Geographically, geometrically,
Spiritually.
cosmically?
Yeah, so it is... So that Horace was not able to determine specifically what it was. It was reached through too many folds too close to each other in either a geographic and or temporal manner, basically saying that over time they would, like cracks in glass, slowly make it worse and worse. Similarly, there was or it could just be you're throwing a rock through the window to continue the metaphor.
Big enough, right? Okay.
That Horace's findings for where the limit would be was definitely larger than making folds that would make like a chunk of a city disappear, that would remove people from vast swaths of time. It appears that not only can folds have a geographic area, they can kind of have a temporal thing of at what point was this person now has been gone. There's a depth quality. And Horace was not able to determine anything specific on how those interact. That Horace seems to have backed off as soon as it was like, oh, that's a problem.
Let's not poke that with a stick.
Mm-hmm.
Would that limit be anywhere near the disappearance of, say, a couple city blocks?
Definitely beyond that.
Okay. So would I have reason to believe that the limit has already been passed by the disappearance of the Black Rabbit?
No.
Or the 6 events that have occurred over the recent past.
Yeah, that other Horace alludes to it would be catastrophic, and it would be
immediately noticeable. Yeah.
Does it appear from the notes that we are on the cusp of such an event?
You don't know.
All right. Is there anything in the notes or in the chapters of the book before or after chapter 7 which gives some indication of a way to reverse the effects that have already been created?
Is that your next line of inquiry?
That would be mine, yes.
Horace is not going to stop him from or suggest anything else. Horace will probably actually poke around the library a little bit to see if he can't find some of these other sources that are alluded to.
Okay. I'm going to get some library use from each of you then.
Absolutely.
would say don't fail me now, but it's already failed me twice, technically.
As I begin to read into the notes, I will withdraw my shotgun from my coat and set it on the table beside me.
98 versus floor 50.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
What is happening?
Why does it say that now? Hold on. Does everything else say that?
Edmund!
Why does everything...
Something
what?
is broken, maybe? I don't
The
know.
folds!
The folds have done it, that's right. It's my fault. I turned off and turned back on the device.
I do love also Raymond's random gibberish.
Okay,
Okay, it's back to normal. Oh, we got out of the fold.
it is? Okay,
That's-
I refreshed the page.
Herbert's is. All right.
Mine worked. I got a horrible roll.
Cool.
Yeah, no, nothing for me either.
I will study particularly carefully, though, and really try to understand things at a deeper level if it allows a push.
Yes. You can push. It's also worth knowing that failure here is just mean you're taking more time.
How much time has it been?
A half an hour?
We hear no signs of violence or alarm.
No.
If I put my head out in the hallway, do I hear anything?
The house is largely silent. It is worth noting again, this is a mansion,
Understood.
and the library is a bit of a ways away from where.
Completely fair. Completely fair. I'll research a bit longer then.
Yep, same.
Damn it.
This is catastrophic.
Horrible.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Team Salon.
Yes. Edmund,
I
you've
feel
asked.
the need. After you.
Edmund, you've asked what it is that we want in return for assisting you, in return for participating in one last ritual. I'll tell you what I want. I want to understand. I want to know what happened to you. I want to know where you've been that's caused your now, well, shit, your father to be looking for you for these years. I want to know how you got to be the way you are. What's going on, Edmund?
It started with William Robb. Have you ever been over to the Brooklyn Naval Yard?
No, I haven't.
Walt Whitman wrote about it. And the bridge and the city. He was a young man who served on a ship. And we lived a secret life together. And then the war started. And he went across the seas. And the ship sank. And in this world, you can't even mourn something like that. I set about finding a better world. And it was in books. And they led me there. There's a froth out there of everything that could be and will be and would be and is. And I am so close. But the ritual with people too tied to one place doesn't work.
What would we need to do in this ritual? Just read pages from a book like at the Black Rabbit?
Precisely. When I thought it had to be witnessed, that was an incorrect translation. It does need to be witnessed, but by people, that's not what it needs to know.
That's why you need us. Because we're half-folded.
I don't need you. It's faster to use you than to try to make more.
Can I insight if he is lying about whether or not he needs us?
Sure.
Okay, psychology okay?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, should I spend luck on that?
Ooh, that's a lot of luck.
I know, but this is kind of important. I don't know how I'd push it, so...
Can I try instead of a push or luck? Step forward and say, Edmund, there's something more than just chance that's special about us, though, isn't there? And I want to read him on that.
Oh, I don't know. I just know anything can be recreated with enough time. And I may have the blood of those two men on my hands. But everyone who dies because they've been murdered, or a wife gets beaten by her husband, or poor souls overseas forced to fight for the rich and powerful, at this point, that's on you.
Yeah, do I believe that he believes what he's saying?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
He seems to think he has unlimited time
Okay.
to get this right. He could recreate it on a long enough timeline, but what is a long enough timeline is very much if he's like, I would rather get this done than...
Well, Edmund, you told us what happened. Why you have this goal. But next I ask you, how did you get to be this way? What changes were wrought upon you that made you the way you are now?
Oh, quite a few. There's other rituals. And quite early it became apparent I would need to be prepared for whatever came ahead.
So, anytime, just to use your own words, wife gets beaten, someone gets sent off to war, or you're gonna be there to interject so that nobody dies in this new world. Is that what we're talking about here?
Not nobody dies ever. Nobody has to die from violence. From
Okay,
hate.
so you're gonna be in charge of all the people in the world not dying from violence. you can accomplish that by yourself. Seems like a pretty big job for one man.
Better than whoever's doing it now.
Right, so that's, you're by yourself. Okay.
Edmund, as dire as the stakes seem to be, with haste being a virtue, would you give Olive and me a moment if we were to go and discuss this in private?
You've all the time in the world. Well, you have time at least.
Thank you. And Raymond will rise to leave. And
I'll just kind of stand up and be like, I want a better offer when we come in back to this room. I was all on board for this new world where nobody gets hurt. Until you started threatening my father, so maybe work on that while we go discuss. Because like I said, one man trying to protect everyone in the world, maybe you would need a little bit of help. And then I'm gonna walk out to follow Raymond.
Raymond is gonna be heading at first to the foyer, the entrance with the other corpses in it. But then he's gonna look around to see if the butler's still around, or if the...
Oh, no, he's gone.
He's gone? Damn. Well, I want to find this library I've heard so much about, so we can talk to the others. Shall we just try and find it? See if we can follow their footsteps or something?
Yeah, okay, I mean, I don't know, this is a lot to take in.
It's a lot to take in.
I don't know if he's just gonna be hiding behind every door, or, I took my eyes off of him, so what if my father's now dead as we're talking, and I just have to accept that, because nothing matters, nothing's real. Are we even real, Raymond?
Olive, you don't have a reason
Can
to
I
think
die?
that your father has had anything happen to him. We can't die in the way that people can. There's just a lot more going on than I thought behind the scenes.
And I'm gonna kind of lean in to Raymond and whisper this. If he can do the door trick, do you think we got any tricks up our sleeves that we can pull off? I mean, we survived a fold. We can maybe do something besides survive folds. There's gotta be something.
Imagine how many folds he has been through. I think that we could do the door trick given time to practice, but we don't have that kind of time or that kind of guidance. No, we have to find the others and see if they've learned anything.
All right, let's go look for this library.
You find the library after some time. Inside, you see Professor Herbert Francis Devenald over a table, poring over pages. Horace Young is propped up in a corner with a different book in his lap and the kitten closer to him. Horace, you did find a quasi-related book that is on it says it's on a language of underlying mathematics that you've been studying and going through. Amongst other things, amongst other information it's going to give you, Continued study will give you more, but for right now, you are able to have a bit of a decoding of anything you find with those letters on it. As for Professor, you have come to the conclusion that there is no known way to undo a fold. That you can do enough more folds to get something like where you started with. But a fold is a permanent change.
Interesting.
And as you're kind of muttering that over to Horace, Dr. Raymond Fox and Olive come in. And that's a good time for a break.
Fair.
So we'll see you all in about let's try to keep it to 5-10 minutes.
Yep.
And we'll be back shortly. The group has come back together in the laboratory/library. And is really on y'all at the moment. I believe where we left it was the group's comparing notes and preparing for their next step.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
there's no undoing what's been done from what I can tell here, though perhaps if a specific enough change was made, the symptoms of the folds that have already exist may be less obvious. Does that make any sense to you?
Perhaps.
Oh, Olive, Raymond, what are you doing?
Edmund has given us time to talk it over, and
Yeah.
He just let you go?
I mean, he can control doors, so do you think he can control this door, or should we close this door?
Keep it open.
Yes, let's not let him open the door and come in.
we left
Right.
it propped when we came through.
Good.
How you had it before.
He said that he can wait behind any closed door. No?
Dr. Raymond Fox,
Yes.
did Tabitha have a pet name for you?
Yes. Let me figure out. I have it written down. Raymond really didn't like it, but she called him Raby.
Raby. One that there's a book on one of the shelves that it's a really slim volume, and it looks almost like a notebook, and there's a piece of paper sticking out of the top that says Raby.
Raymond will see it, and I told her to use my pet name in a telegram when next, and he'll grab it, and he'll open it up to the inserted page.
So it is an otherwise empty notebook, and it appears to be a note from Tabitha. It says, Raymond, I have been working with Horace Young. Apparently, I don't understand all of it. I'm mostly buying books for him, but he says this isn't what always happened. And he thinks it might go better if it's you instead of me. Best of luck, and I'll always care for you. He had me send some telegrams, and I hope you find this. Tabitha.
Horace,
Yes?
you've been working with Tabitha?
Not yet.
What do you mean, Raymond?
This note's from her. It's I don't quite understand it, but she says that you will think that whatever it is you're doing will work better with me than with her.
Oh, I've done this before, haven't I?
Mr. Young, once again we find ourselves in a position where you are much too intimately connected to the occurrences that have been plaguing our lives over the past days.
Oh, yes, yes. I must, in the same way, I have done this before and yet have not done it yet. It appears one attempt, I at least made it several years past the current date. When did you receive those telegrams?
When I received them
From when did you receive them?
2 weeks.
Ah, not nearly so far that time.
Are the notes written by Horace as recent as that, or are they significantly farther along in the future?
They were from years in the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
Casting, like, if I look over them with their papers splayed out, can my gaze, like, land on the set of handwriting that they previously didn't know the
Yes.
owner of? Do I recognize it?
No.
Okay.
While everyone's distracted, can I just glance at the jar in my pocket to see if the worm is still there?
Yes.
It's still there?
Yes.
And it's alive and thriving?
Yes.
Okay. That is all.
Mr. Young, I am going to acknowledge that I am very much uncertain of who you are and how you're actually connected to all of this. I am quite concerned that perhaps Edmund is not the mastermind behind all that is going on right now, and that you, in fact, flew too close to the sun in your attempts to make change and broke your own mind.
If that were the case, what role would Edmund play?
The pilot
That is the
fish.
question, isn't it?
Oh, very good, Raymond. I like that. Although I do not... I believe the pilot fish are something different, but I could be wrong. What was it that he said he could be behind any closed? Herbert, you gave similar. Or you said that your neighbor's niece gave similar
Mary.
advice. Yes, Mary. Gave similar advice, no?
What advice is that?
I'm sorry, I can't really. Did he tell us about? I mean, I know he told us not to go through doorways. Did he tell us about that she said he would be there?
Ooh.
Cannot remember.
She did tell the professor.
Right, I know that.
I cannot recall either if the professor shared that information.
I know he was weird about us going through
Doors.
doorways when he came
Right.
back. Okay, so I will just proceed on that
All
information.
right.
We have similar concerns about doorways when you return to us in the hotel. If he is not the mastermind, then he must be something else. Meaning that I would at least have the same properties as he does, no? If not more.
That seems plausible, at
Right.
the very least.
Then, possibly. And he'll walk over to... not the door to the room, because I guess Olive and Raymond would be in front of that. To the door where the switch... in front of the switch closet. He'll close his eye... or close the door, and then close his eyes. Perhaps say, I could open this door and find myself in my office. And he'll open and step through the door, eyes closed.
Okay, you run into the closet wall because it is not very deep.
Okay. Oh well, worth a try.
Horace, this room is the shielded laboratory that Ernst told us about, isn't it? Wouldn't your fold-based powers be inhibited?
Good point. Let's turn it off again.
No, wait, you turned it off?
He's in the closet. He's gonna
No,
turn
no,
it.
no,
He's
no,
gonna
no.
flip the switch.
Okay. The noise stops again.
What did you just do?
Let's find out. And Horace will close the door with him from the inside.
Okay.
And then from the dark, he's gonna close his eyes, think of his office, and open the door.
You all see Horace Young walk out into the room with his eyes closed.
Horace, we're all in
Horace-
your office now.
Turn it back on!
Alright. The damage is already done, I'm sure.
What damage? What is he talking about?
So he flips the switch back on.
I examine everything that I can lay my eyes on for changes.
You do not see any changes.
The room has been protecting everything that is in here from any changes that may have been enacted upon it by the Fold. We disabled the device to confirm that the noise would go away, and when we turned it back on, the book had changed. All of the notes in it had changed. There are notes from Mr. Young in this book now that were not there less than an hour ago.
Raymond's gonna look at the note that he just found.
Mm-hmm.
Is it basically the same?
Yep.
Okay.
Why are we obsessed about this passing through doors trick?
I thought it is the only other one which we know him to possess.
Well, he can't die. Pretty sure.
He can disembowel a man and use it to create some strange portal to another realm.
Well, I don't believe any of you wish to be disemboweled, no?
Quite right.
And we are left with only that one option.
But what would be the purpose in discovering how to use that ability here in this time and place?
And none, only to discover whether or not I could do it. If it is believed that I am more than what I believe myself to be, which is entirely possible, it stands to reason that I would have more advanced capabilities than the rest of you.
I think we're focusing on the wrong thing here, fellas. That guy, I just said, I don't think he can die, and he needs us to perform a ritual, or he's gonna hurt everybody we know. He already threatened my pa.
A ritual which will thrust us into the cold foam of possibility.
How do you
Well-
mean you don't believe he can die?
Well, I asked him. And he said, not really.
When Olive says she asked him with my bat, and his skull answered no.
Yeah.
Oh. So there was an escalation of sorts then.
Again, he threatened my pa, so...
And was actively killing his own father.
Oh, yeah.
What?
I think his dad is dead. We never checked on that,
No,
Raven. We
I
just kind
would've-
of let that go.
I would have done more harm than good, to be perfectly
Yeah.
honest.
Honestly, same.
Did he at least explain to you what he wants from us?
Yeah, to perform the ritual. He needs us, because if he does it by himself, it's going to take too much time, which I don't really believe. I think he actually really needs us. Because I, did threaten to kill myself at some point, and he was like, okay, we can talk.
Edmund wants us to be the participants in the ritual that he's been doing. The ritual like or the same as the one from the cabaret. Our nature as being people who are escapees of an active fold will let him do what he's trying to do, he says. And the time factor that he's talking about is, well, if we refuse, he can always half-fold some more people.
Yes, I don't really think we have a choice. I think he's just gonna do whatever he wants, and we can either be on board or not. So I'm thinking we try to find a way to get the jump on him. Horace, if you could have gone through doors, that would have been a good jump. But you can't. So what are we gonna do, fellas? Again, I bring us back to the question.
What is it he's actually attempting?
He wants to stop violence and wars and all that hippie stuff.
He
Which
wants,
is,
He wants to install himself cosmologically as the arbiter of what happens.
yeah, God.
He wants to be a deciding force for what threads are used in the loom of time and history.
God, truly, then, the man is completely broken in his mind.
Have you learned anything about the rituals that could perhaps turn it against him?
I had a thought. I don't believe that we can't make the work he's already done, the folds that already exist, completely vanish as though they were never there. But the right kind of change may significantly reduce the impact that they've had on the world, perhaps. And though I am always loath to suggest ending anyone's life before their time, perhaps the right kind of change is a fold that ensures Edmund never found the book in the first place, or was never born.
If we can reach as far back as him acquiring the book in the first place.
The book
Then-
does say folds can affect time as well as space.
And in the process, destroy all of them.
Sorry. Destroy.
Yes. Herbert, as you know from my prior future research, the number of folds already and frequency of folds already creates a precarious web of cracks across the surface of everything. To reach so far back as to undo a man's entire existence would be catastrophic.
He's driven by a personal need. He lost someone in his life, and that is the core of his need to do this, the prevention of anyone else experiencing such loss. And I have an alternative that isn't quite so far back. He's burned. He barely escaped from the Black Rabbit Cabaret.
Wait.
What if we find the fold where he didn't?
Or, because again, we can't even go through doors, what if we let this fold happen, but while we're in the fold, we kill him? Because I think he can die in the fold. He still has an injury from when it was folding. And that's the only thing, you know.
You all seem to fail to understand. We cannot allow this fold to take place.
I don't
The
understand.
whole of existence could crumble in its entirety.
According to the future other Horace Young's notes,
The future Horace Young's notes, who thinks that if whatever it is that you will be were trying, will work better with me.
apparently, he did have concerns about, or he does have, or he will have, there will be, someone is concerned. That's not right either. It's possible that a change of great enough magnitude, or enough smaller changes in close succession could create a truly awful outcome beyond anything that we can imagine, short of hell itself come to Earth, or worse.
Well, what if we just go along with it and we just don't say the, like, last line?
Who's to say we'll be able to stop ourselves?
We tried already to stop participants, and gunshots and knife wounds didn't stop them. I don't think once it gets rolling, we'll have any power to resist.
I thought you all said that the only one left performing the ritual was Edmund himself, that the rest of them were stopped.
Oh, I don't know.
Am I misremembering your recollections?
I didn't
Well,
have the vision.
no, of course, because you have a good head on your shoulders and you're not to drink strange things at strange times. I understand.
I only drink
but
alcohol.
These two,
Yeah.
Although that did nothing to prohibit the furthering of the fold. Once it begins, its cosmic momentum is not easily reversed.
No, we didn't stop all the ritual participants. Your neighbor's niece was one of them, and she made it out.
she escaped. But I didn't mean kill all of them. I simply meant stop them.
They scattered.
Can we spend a bit more time looking at this volume and trying to determine an understanding of the ritual that he would want us to complete at this stage of his process?
Let us
Yes.
assume that it
So-
is the 7th.
Based upon your reading of this and what he is discussing, he has extrapolated beyond anything in this book. You, from what you have found thus far, think you are able to determine a way to fold just him now. You also find a ritual that you're pretty sure would unhalf fold you. It would make you no longer different.
Is there information that could be used to sabotage a ritual in progress?
Interfering in a ritual in progress in any way has the potential to interfere and has the potential to interrupt it, but what an interruption would look like is a bit of a crapshoot.
So the outcome could be anything. Okay.
There's your...
So we can make ourselves no longer useful to the man, and off he goes, who knows where, to find other souls to torture. Or we can try to fold him out of existence now, leaving the damage done, and run the risk of breaking reality.
These notes were found in which book? Sorry.
These notes here, the notes written by the other Horus, were found in the book that Edmund has been reading.
The rituals that I just shared the words for you have been between the notes from other people and the professor and Horus's work. They were able to identify those two rituals. That is not inclusive of all of the stuff in the book. There's just a lot of marginality, a lot of notes, and from stuff they've been learning, it's easier to be like, okay, this is what I'm looking for. Specifically, for example, the one to resync yourselves is about changing the mathematical music of your being back to what it once was.
Does that ritual you have to perform on yourself to work? Does it say anything about that in the notes? Or could you potentially do it to someone else?
Yeah, could we use resync on Edmund?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a one you can do on yourself, but it's also one you can do on another.
I mean,
Is there anything about altering memory?
do you say that out loud? Are we discussing this out loud? I'll kind of like pat my pocket and be like, I might have something to alter memories.
Not in this book.
Not in this book.
Olive, what do you mean?
I pull out the worm.
Well,
I thought that was... that might work. Could it?
It might work, yeah. Which is why I lied about, the whole worm thing. Sorry, but not sorry.
well, it's not like we could go get it now if we decided we needed it.
True enough. A conversation might have been apropos rather than simply going behind our backs.
Hey, listen, I was all open and honest with you guys. I was like, hey, we should bring the worm. It could be a good weapon. And everyone was like, no, Olive, that's crazy.
I was with you
look
on
who's
that.
crazy now.
All of
Thank
us.
you.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
We can't let... Edmund killed people with his actions.
And who knows what worse he's done.
Exactly. And he's looking to do more of the same, regardless of his goals. What he's doing can't be right.
Even his goals are twisted. I understand the man has suffered great loss. In every case where a man or a woman chooses the dark path, it is because of some loss that they have suffered, but to twist the free will of every man, woman, and child so that we dance on the strings that he chooses for us to dance on, that is not right.
We can fold him into the world that he thinks he's making for all of us. And everybody gets what they want. He gets to be a god of his own little playground, and we get to be free of his influence. Maybe we can bring back your neighbor's niece with enough folds after he's dealt with.
I'm not certain that folding him away will leave him folded away, if you understand.
I mean, it'll at least buy us some time.
And piss him off.
Because, yeah, as the way I see it is, something's gonna happen tonight. Something not good. So.
But if we were to remove his power and his memory of how to gain access to that power, if that was possible.
Yeah. Although, maybe this is a Leda's problem. Maybe Edmund's the problem we need to face right now. But, do you guys think that this is gonna take care of? And I kind of like point upwards of that thing that's floating above the city. Is it just like we get rid of Edmund, we get rid of everything, or?
From what Horace and Herbert have read, part of what these rituals do is they attract that thing, and it does the folds.
Leviathan will never be gone. It simply is. It just may not be here.
Right.
Raymond wants to start looking through the library to see if there's any documentation on parasites, or the worms specifically.
Alright, I'm gonna have Kendra and Raymond specifically make sanity rolls for continuing to spiral like this, knowing what's on the line.
I'm good.
Olive, you're gonna lose 1. Because he said you have time. He had no details on what that meant.
Yeah, listen, fellas, I'm not so good with the book stuff. Maybe I should go entertain our friend so he doesn't get so antsy because, you know.
I shall go speak to him. I believe we've much conversation to make.
Maybe we shouldn't leave you, no offense, alone with him, though. So
No, yeah,
I'll
you
follow
definitely go
Yeah,
with. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, maybe a little bit offense, but no offense for us.
What does offend?
Offense would not keep the Leviathan out.
Oh, what does offense matter? All that is at stake is all that is, was, or ever could be.
Yeah, okay,
As he walks out the door.
Yeah, I'm kind of like
Olive,
shuffling
keep
him
an
along.
eye on him. Keep a close eye.
He will hand Raymond the kitten.
Ah,
First.
yes.
Yeah, I'll keep an
Hello, cat.
eye on him.
Yes. What was it you were looking for, Raymond?
The redacted notes that Tommy found in the hospital specifically said parasitic activity, contact Von C. And I want to know if there's any information about these parasites left in this library after we let whatever folds were going to take effect just take effect in here.
Excellent question.
Should I?
Roll me a library use.
Okay.
No, roll me a spot hidden.
Okay. That's alright. Joke's on you. I'm good at both. I'm a push. I'm a like start knocking stuff off of shelves. Where is the research? I know it's
Careful
in
of the
here.
electrical lines.
Is that push worthy?
Oh yeah, that's push-worthy to ruin the bubble. You find the medical records. There's no mention of parasites.
These
Sorry.
ones were more thoroughly redacted than the ones we already found.
Do you still have the document that we were given?
The rubbing that Tommy took from the doctors?
Yeah, yes.
No.
Oh,
Maybe? No, I don't.
all right. So what we know is what we know. And what we don't know, we don't know.
Yes.
We know that the worms are highly explosive.
Yes.
We know that when one was attached to Olive's arm, it reduced it.
The reason I wanted to look into the worms and the research contained in here was because we don't even know if the worms would have an effect on Edmund. They might owe their allegiance to him entirely.
I don't believe so. I think they are as much of a... If natural occurrence is the word to use here, which it clearly is not, but I don't have the language to come up with anything better. They're as much of a natural occurrence as this Leviathan that we have all seen is itself. They are the detritus of its passing.
Then, what if we do simply attempt to overpower him and leave the worm on him until there's nothing left?
Until all of his memory of all of this has gone.
All of his everything.
Do we have to destroy the man if we can simply stop him?
How will we know we've gone far enough until we've gone too far?
I don't have an answer to that.
The new salon group.
Yeah.
You walk in to an ad hoc field dressing, like you'd expect with an animal, except strung up from the roof is not an animal, but is Detective McGowan.
What?
This is in the salon?
Yes.
Is Edmund in the room?
Oh yeah, Edmund's standing there. The closest look you would imagine, the closest comparator would be, as though it were someone admiring an art piece, admiring a good piece of work. He has the kitchen knife in his hand still. The floor is covered in blood. He's covered in blood. McGowan has been cut open at the guts, which are largely on the floor. And he's going, he goes, I was just about to do a reading.
How was it you got him involved to begin with?
What?
How much did you tell him? What did you promise him?
Yeah, what did you promise him?
He's just a cop. He had nothing to do with me.
I mean, psychology. Roll on that for days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
McGowan was just a cop doing a job.
Poor guy. Oh, well.
Why is he here?
He followed us.
Well, I brought your friend, so maybe we could talk about the things you have in common.
Yes, forgive me, Edmund. How long have we known each other?
Knowing someone is such a interesting way of putting it. Our paths have crossed a few times.
Too many to count?
Not yet.
Has our first meeting yet occurred?
Is this the game you want to play?
I would love nothing more. How long will it be until you meet me for the first time? I am ever so curious.
He walks up to you. He's walking closer and he's closing the distance. And he puts a hand on your shoulder. And he goes, Horace. Any weed can be removed from the garden. And he stabs you in the guts.
Is he just... I pull out my worm and I'm gonna try to shove it... Slide a hand behind his collar. Not Horace's, Edmund's.
Horse, you're gonna take 5 hit points.
That's most of them.
Oh no.
I believe that is enough for a potential wound.
Yeah. For major wound.
Yes. I'm gonna need a Constitution check from you.
Okay, that's good.
Oh my gosh.
All right, you're gonna stay standing.
Okay. Perfect. Horace is gonna grab his wrist.
I was waiting for a roll from Olive as well.
Oh, yes.
Ah.
I will spend all my luck on this if I have to.
Do you
25.
have the luck to
20
spend on that?
Yeah, I have 55 luck total. I'm spending 25.
Ooh, wow. Oh wait, is this combat? Can she do that?
Strictly
It's like-
speaking, he's not combating.
It's a sleight of hand, not a.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it.
Okay, cool. I love it.
Oh, that was. Oh.
You're gonna grab his hand.
Yep. Pull him closer
Mm-hmm.
so that nose to nose,
Mm-hmm.
and I assume through bloody spittle.
Oh yes.
Tell me.
He starts screaming. Ah! 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 And he is reaching at the back of his neck, and he's left the knife in you.
Good.
He is freaking out. You are not able to continue your hold on him. It is like trying to hold a horse in place.
Can I try to grapple him once he starts freaking out? Like, I want to, even though I might risk the worm getting on me.
Grapple him.
Yeah, grapple
But
him.
I don't want him to
grapple
get the worm off, so I want to, like, hug him from behind.
Does you want to keep his hands under control?
Yes, I don't want him to get this worm off of him. I'm risking it.
So, Olive, you
Yeah.
kind of have most of the power in this situation right now. Horace could try to stop you.
Could he, Tyler?
I said try.
he.
Try.
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 Horace is howling in laughter.
Awesome.
Because all he knows is he gets stabbed, he says that, and then Horace thinks he's won.
Cool.
Ad infinitum.
How far are you gonna let this go, Olive? As he's screaming and shriveling.
We need to stop the fold. I'm gonna let it go to the end. Did I just lose the game? So
Nope.
that's not it.
That played the wrong noise.
Okay.
It was supposed to be a
Over.
screaming noise. And instead it was like, no. I will not play screams.
I'm just kind of holding him up like Horace.
Both of you are going to make
Okay.
sanity checks. Fantastic.
Hey.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I think you broke the keeper.
Nope. I am sorting through a couple of pieces of rules to make sure I handle this properly.
Fair.
no.
Take your time.
So Kendra, what were you thinking for your next character?
Yeah.
You're each going to lose 8 points of sanity.
That's a lot.
That's enough
I don't-
for bad stuff to happen,
Oh no.
isn't it?
Yes. And that's
Okay.
what I was double checking.
Okay. Well, Raymond and I are just like,
Books.
You
Ah,
guys
Professor.
are the worst
Just petting a
group
cat.
to this room.
I don't know.
No,
Maybe
no,
Olive was the
Horace?
only one that could have gotten it done.
That's not enough for Horace to have another temporary insanity, though, right? Because his threshold for that's 11.
Is it all at once, or is it?
Have you recalculated it?
After losing sanity.
Does it change?
It's of whatever your current total is.
Oh, and it's in 24 hours, isn't it? And I lost 3 earlier. Yeah, never mind.
Horace, I'm going to have you do an idea roll for me.
Oh, no. I'm pretty sure I know what this is, and I want to fail it, right?
Cool. Olive,
Yeah.
I think I know the answer to this.
Okay.
But you do get a part of a hand on the wheel
Okay.
without knowing what it entails.
Okay.
Would Olive fight or flee?
It's Olive.
Like I said, I
We're
think I know.
fighting.
Olive's throwing fists.
We're throwing hands. Let's go.
Okay. Raymond and the Professor. You are going through the books and you're trying to find anything on the worms, is where I believe we left.
Yeah.
That is correct.
And you're going through them and you're not able to find anything, and it seems like an undercovered topic. And you're comparing notes, and your first sense of something being wrong is the smell of smoke.
Well, that's not ideal. Do we see an obvious source of fire or smoke in this room?
Nope.
Professor, I can't abide this.
Do we see anything in the hallway outside?
Step in the hallway. It is definitely hazier out here. The smell of smoke is stronger. After a moment, the electrical lights flicker and go out.
Everywhere in the house, or just in that room?
Everywhere.
That's not Raymond.
Yes. I'm right here. And I'll fish around in my tuxedo pockets for the things that I've transferred over. And I'll pull out a little pen light and I'll click it on. We've got to find the source of the smoke. The house might be on fire.
Yes. Grab the book.
Yes, yeah. I don't know, for whatever it's worth, being unshielded now.
You're grabbing a Cote de Monde?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And all of the notes.
Yes.
Sure. I will count that counts as part of the book.
Sure.
You head down the hallway bit towards the lobby, the entry room in the main part of the house, and sure enough, there is a conflagration.
Oh, no.
Conflagration. There is a wall of fire. And
Where?
from the side of the house they were in.
Oh.
Is it like blocking a hallway, or?
Oh no. Again, big house. This has been going for a bit.
Oh.
This has been... This has been burning for a time. And that sounds like the furnace going in the basement. Because it'd be coal, which is gonna burn hotter.
Raymond's gonna start shouting.
The
Yes.
roar of the fire is a wall of noise that you're barely able to hear yourselves over. Even trying to get out the front door, the heat would be unbearable.
Raymond, what room were you all in?
But we were in the sitting room, the lounge. It's on fire now. I'm certain of that.
We need to find another way out. Maybe we can get around the windows on the outside of the room.
Yes. We're still on the ground floor. Let's try and get out a window.
It's not much to throw something through a window and climb out.
Raymond will lead and help the professor out.
Thank you. That way, yes?
Yes.
Toward the front of the house.
Around the front and to the other side.
Can we find the windows to the lounge or whatever?
The half of the house is in flames. You can hear fire. You can hear shouts from the distance.
Oh, we'll start shouting back. Olive! Horace!
It sounds like they're yelling for fire department, and
Raymond's gonna look for a source of water.
it's pouring rain.
Oh, so he's soaked wet already. Great.
Yes.
Perfect. Accomplished the first 2 steps of the plan all in one go. Raymond's gonna try and go into the fire.
Okay.
How on fire is the outside of the building?
With 1920s firefighting, this building's probably done for.
All right. Can we at least look in the windows first to see if there's anyone in there, just to be saved?
Let's figure that out. So what happened within the room?
I don't know, Tyler. You tell me.
I'm
I mean, Olive threw hands and the building caught on fire. Isn't that what happened?
That's what always happens when we go out.
That is not what happened. What it sounds like what happened is that Olive threw hands and the building was already on fire. Was always on fire.
Oh no!
Because Edmund was the only one keeping things from not having been on fire.
No. Not quite.
I don't like
As
your tone.
Edmund shrivels and is becoming less, the worm is both getting bigger and eating into him and moving through him, and is boring through existence itself. And Olive and Horace, neither of you can abide that level of wrongness, especially when Olive lets go once it's obvious Edmund's not doing shit and his body is crumbling to the floor, and the worm, now far larger, rears up and looks at you.
Oh, fucking you have to fight this worm.
It doesn't fit the jar anymore.
And Olive grabs a bottle of alcohol.
Of course she does.
My go-to move.
And Horace has a moment staring into the hole into otherness of considering stepping through.
What does he do?
Oh my
What does he
god,
do?
Horace.
Does it look like anything? I know that's an impossible question probably for this.
It looks like everything.
Oh, good answer.
Yeah, that's the answer I was hoping you wouldn't say, so I wouldn't have to say Horace is walking through it.
Oh my gosh.
Man.
Dead otherwise, so
So Olive then sees Horace disappear. And
Great.
decides fire is again the way to go. There's a hearth in the room that has the fire made to deal with the chill of the rain. And Olive just starts throwing hard bottles of liquor in there until the fire gets building and building. The worm catches a flame.
Oh god, they're explosive.
Yep.
And well fed.
Olive, you're gonna roll me a luck with your remaining luck.
Oh god.
Sounds about right.
You have 13 hit points? Wow.
Olive's beefy.
Tanky.
Olive's beefy.
Was beefy, let's be honest.
Well, let's see.
I don't know. He seems surprised by 13.
Roast
Let me
is
tell you
still
what.
beef.
Oh.
Let me tell you what. My decision's looking a lot better right now.
Why didn't you bring me with you, Horace? That's what I want to know. You just
Wait,
left
wasn't
me
an
here in
option?
the
You want to
fire.
know how many hit points Horace has right now?
Does Horace even know at this point?
Well, Horace might not be anymore.
Exactly.
I was
Is
gonna
what
be
I
like,
say. As a, allow me this
Mauve.
precise moment where he is in a better situation.
Okay. I went
Horace's
Tyler's
hit points
face.
are a total of birdsong.
Maybe he has infinite hit points.
Raymond,
Yes.
you're preparing to go in, and you find in the front yard, under the light of your pen light, with the sound, the scream of the fire engines
Okay.
of firefighters coming, you find the body of Olive. And you put your fingers to Olive's throat, because it looks like Olive's been thrown from a window, and there's a heartbeat.
She's alive. She's alive.
Olive, you have 1 hit point.
Oh, baby, let's go.
Can I attempt to take care of her with my first aid?
You're not going to need to,
Okay.
as experts are showing up.
Here.
Yep.
Alive.
They're being attended to. And the Von Cartwrights appear to be no more. That'll be the end of the first arc of the Black Rabbit Society. Thank you all so much for watching Wandering Souls. In universe time, there'll be some time before they're adventuring or investigating much. We're gonna have to find out what happened to Tommy and Horace on a different evening. But again, thank you all so much. Thank you for all the subscriptions we got. I saw Sir Pryzen also joined for a 3-month subscription with Prime. That's awesome and super big thanks. As always, music, sound effects, and all the stuff were from Syrinscape, and they're awesome, even when I accidentally hit a thing that was labeled as Scream, and it instead is...
Womp, womp, womp.
Joel, as always, does awesome Ravenloft campaigns at... Let me pull up the whole link, or let him do it.
Just go to StartPlaying.Games and just do a search for Leonidas, and I'll come up. Leonidas-Games.
It's also going to be in the bubbly boot below. Art, as always, is by Peter Edgar. That's The Dungeon Sketcher at Patreon. Drew and Olive return tomorrow evening for Doors and Deities every Wednesday, starting at 7:30 EST. Or you can return here for further Shadows and Mysteries soon. Thank you all
Tyler.
again. Thank you all to the players. One more time, that is Joel as Professor Herbert Francis Devenald. Kyle playing Dr. Raymond Fox.
What did we do?
Andra playing Olive.
I'm alive, maybe. 1 hit point.
And Drew playing Horace Charles Young.
At least as of about 15 minutes ago. We'll find out.
And I've been Tyler. Thank you all again so much for watching. And until next time.
Have a good night, everybody.